하고 있냐고 나는 지금
근데 진짜 거짓말 아니야.
진짜 이 정도로
맞아요. 제가 진짜 이 정도로 한마디 할게요. 제가 와본 여행 중에 제일 알찼던 거.
맞아요.
오늘 진짜 알찼던
약간 좀 저희가 이 방송 나가는 저희 여행 루트가 있잖아요.
우리 것만 보고만 돼.
진짜 우리 것만 보고 그대로 하시면은
진짜 게임 끝나.
절대 실패하실 수 없어요.
거창하지 않지만 뭔가 소박하게 힐링되는 여행을 원하신다면 꼭 여수 드리핑 편을 참고하시길 바랍니다.
여수로 놀러오세요.
웨이컴 웨이컴.
걷고 싶어 이 거리를 너와 함께
도시는 세계와 연결되어 문화를 창조했고 새로운 것을 받아들였다.
함께여서 우리는 더 자유롭고 더 멀리 갈 수 있어.
닫힌 문이 아니라 열린 질문으로
나에게 APEC은
자유,
융합,
국제성,
다양성, 포용,
개발
신라의 정신이 APEC 2025로 이어집니다.
Hello and welcome to our morning edition of Arirang News. We begin with these stories making the headlines at this hour. The United States and the European Union have agreed on a trade deal, which includes a 15% tariff rate for most goods from the EU. South Korean officials are also making last-minute efforts to reach an agreement, with the finance minister planning to travel to the U.S. this week. North Korea has commented on the Lee administration's inter-Korean policy for the first time, with the North Korean leader's powerful sister saying the regime is not interested in any proposal from Seoul and that they won't sit down for talks with South Korea. Seoul City saw the daytime temperature soaring up to 38 degrees Celsius over the weekend, the fourth highest ever for late July. The scorching heat is expected to continue today and throughout this week, with heat wave warnings in place across most parts of the country. With just a few days until the August deadline, the United States and the European Union have agreed on a trade deal with a 15% tariff on most imports from the European bloc. A major part of the agreement includes the EU buying $750 billion worth of U.S. energy. Our Lee Seung-jae starts us off.
The United States and the European Union avoided a major trade war as the two sides agreed on a 15% tariff on most EU goods going into the U.S. on Sunday. The framework trade agreement was announced by U.S. President Donald Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen during their meeting at the U.S. leaders' luxurious golf course in western Scotland.
We have stabilized on a single 15% tariff rate for the vast majority of EU exports. This rate applies across most sectors, including cars, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals. This 15% is a clear ceiling, so no stacking, all inclusive.
The deal also includes a 0-for-0 tariff rate for certain strategic products. Those goods include aircraft and aircraft parts and certain chemicals and generic drugs. However, no decision has been made on wine and spirits. Also, a major part of the trade deal is the European bloc agreeing to purchase $750 billion worth of energy from the U.S.
Is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing.
The deal means the EU has now avoided Trump's initial proposal of 30% tariffs on goods from the EU. The U.S. has also struck deals with the UK, Japan, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Trump announced that 3 to 4 more countries could strike a deal with the U.S. in the coming days. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
But South Korea has yet to strike a deal, leaving the country only a few days to negotiate with the United States. Top government officials are already in Washington, with the Minister for Finance traveling to join them this week. Our Kim Do-yeon has more.
After a last-minute cancellation derailed his trip to the U.S. last week, Finance Minister Koo Yoon-cheol's new date for a one-on-one meeting with U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is July 31st, the day before the U.S. tariffs pause ends. With the tariffs set to take effect the following day, this could be Seoul's last chance to strike a deal before the 25% duties kick in as announced, along with other tariffs for specific items such as cars, steel, and chips. Adding pressure, Japan has already secured a 12.5% tariff on auto exports compared to a rate of 25% rate for other nations, giving its automakers a potential edge over Korean competitors. In response, Seoul is reportedly preparing a broad package of proposals, including deeper cooperation in strategic sectors like shipbuilding and semiconductors and significantly expanded investment commitments. One key bargaining chip, a possible boost to Korea's $100 billion plus investment plan aimed at matching Japan's earlier pledge of $550 billion in exchange for tariff concessions. The presidential office is also on full alert. President Lee Jae-myung is set to be watching the situation around the clock as the deadline approaches, closely monitoring the situation.
The president's message is to approach the negotiations with multiple factors in mind, considering the complex and evolving global landscape, and to aim for outcomes that could bring significant benefits to our country.
On Saturday, the top office convened its second emergency meeting in as many days, led by Policy Chief Kim Yong-bum and National Security Advisor Ri Sung-rak. With both the industry and trade ministers currently in the U.S., they joined virtually to brief on their latest meetings with U.S. counterparts. Shipbuilding again emerged as a key point of discussion, according to Industry Minister Kim Jong-kwan, reflecting Washington's continued interest in strategic manufacturing ties. 김도현, Arirang News.
So as we just heard, Korean officials are now preparing for what will likely be the last round of negotiations before the trade deadline set by U.S. President Donald Trump ends this week. For more on this, we're joined by Professor Ho Jun-young, Associate Professor of Economics at Seoul University. Professor Ho, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So South Korean officials were still unable to reach a deal after recent trade talks in Washington. What would you say is the biggest obstacle to an agreement?
The key point is whether it is possible to make investment in the United States to the extent that the U.S. desires. For example, like Japan decided to invest $50 billion in the United States and lower the mutual tariff rate by 10% point from 25% to 15%. Unfortunately, this is unlikely to be the case for Korea. Korea is in a difficult situation to guarantee investment on the scale of Japan. In fact, it is reported that Trump is demanding an investment from Korea of about $400 billion. But the $550 billion that Japan has decided to invest in the United States far exceed the South Korean government budget this year.
I see. And the talks on July 31st are expected to be Korea's last chance to negotiate with the Trump administration before the August deadline. How do you think the negotiations will play out?
As the negotiation deadline approaches, the United States is expected to increase pressure on Korea by intensifying its demands. President Trump has strongly expressed his determination to conclude trade negotiations with major trading partners by August 1st, causing tension for the South Korean government as they are pressed for time. The Korean government is reportedly demanding the maximum possible reduction in mutual tariff rates and item-specific tariffs, such as those on automobiles and steel, with an initial target of setting a mutual tariff rate of 15%, similar to Japan. I believe as the negotiations reach their final stage, Korea will present even larger concessions to the U.S. government.
I will have to see how that goes. And it seems South Korea is looking to use shipbuilding and semiconductors as leverage in the negotiations. Do you think the strategy will work?
I think so. The Trump administration has recognized China's rise in the shipbuilding industry as a key issue threatening national security. In this context, the United States has planned to revive its shipbuilding industry and strengthen its naval power through cooperation with the South Korean shipbuilding sector, which possesses the world's highest level of technology. Specifically, it is reported that the U.S. government has requested investment in the U.S. by Korean shipbuilding companies, the transfer of key technologies, and support for workforce development. In this regard, I think there are kind of many rooms for cooperation between these two countries.
Right, and the presidential office says agricultural products are now also on the table, despite earlier government claims to the contrary. Is there a possibility that livestock products such as beef imports could become part of the deal?
I think so. Currently, South Korea is the only country aside from Russia and Belarus that impose age restrictions on U.S. beef. Initially, South Korea was hesitant to import U.S. beef over 30 months of age based on public health concern, but it appears that the government is shifting its stance and may include beef and certain other agricultural products in the negotiation items.
See, what happens if the two sides fail to reach an agreement before the August deadline? How might that affect Korean businesses and the broader economy, especially given Korea's dependence on the U.S. market?
If this negotiation fails, I think three layers of opportunity costs will accumulate. First is the ongoing burden of tariff already imposed on items such as steel and automobiles. Second is the blanket burden of a 25% reciprocal tariff. And finally, the third point is the additional high tariff on strategic industries like semiconductors and the structural costs associated with the reorganization of supply chains. To avoid this, we must wisely offer what we can concede.
I see. I guess we'll have to hope that the two sides do reach an agreement this week. All right, Professor Ha, thank you so much for your insight today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
The North Korean leader's powerful sister says the regime has no interest in talking with South Korea, showing no will for dialogue. She also says inviting Kim Jong-un to APEC 2025 Korea would be a foolish delusion. Our Choi Soo-young reports.
In its first official response to the EU administration, North Korea says it has no interest in any policy or proposal by South Korea and sees no reason to sit down with Seoul for talks. On Monday, Kim Yo-jong, the sister of the regime's leader Kim Jong-un, said through the North Korean Central News Agency that no matter how much the Lee Jae-myung government tries to act like a fellow Korean to draw our attention or gain international spotlight, we still see them as an enemy. She also said that state-to-state relations on the Korean peninsula are now permanent and strongly criticized the South for trying to pursue unification through absorption, using the Ministry of Unification as a front. Kim said that looking at around first 50 days of Lee's administration, it is no different from his predecessor in blindly following the South Korea and U.S. alliance, pursuing confrontation with the North. On the recent halting of loudspeaker broadcast by the South, Kim said it is a problem Seoul created on its own and that the end of the broadcast is merely a reversal of something that should not have been done in the first place. She added it does not merit any evaluation. Kim also warned that it would be a serious mistake for Seoul to think that a few sentimental words could undo the extreme confrontation it had previously created. Regarding speculation that the North leader Kim Jong-un might be invited to the APEC 2025 Korea, she dismissed it as a foolish delusion. Choi Soo-young, Arirang News.
The first direct passenger flight between Moscow and Pyongyang in around 3 decades has taken off. On Sunday at 7:25 p.m. Moscow time, a Pyongyang-bound flight operated by Russian Nordwind Airlines departed from Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport. The flight carries about 400 passengers and takes around 8 hours. Tickets cost about 45,000 rubles, roughly $560. Until now, the only direct flight between Russia and North Korea was the Vladivostok-Pyongyang route. Since last year's Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, Russia and the North have expanded transport cooperation. Russia is also considering a new direct route to Wonsan on North Korea's east coast. South Korea's Prime Minister Kim Min-seok expressed his gratitude for the sacrifices of Korean War veterans on the occasion of the UN Forces Participation Day. At a commemoration ceremony held in Goyang, Gyeongju Province on Sunday, Kim noted that over 40,000 soldiers died and more than 100,000 were wounded, defending South Korea's freedom and peace. He stressed that South Korea will never forget the sacrifices made. The Prime Minister also pledged continued support for the descendants of Korean War veterans, announcing plans to expand scholarship and exchange programs. With less than 100 days left until the 2025 APEC Economic Leaders Meeting, the host city Gyeongju is holding a set of cultural events that allow visitors to get to know the city through Korean modern and contemporary art. Our An Sung-jin has this report.
A collection of 4 of the greatest. Kim Won-gi, Park Soo-gun, Lee Jung-seop, and Jang Wook-jin are artists who represent Korean contemporary art, and works of all 4 can be seen together at Gyeongju Arts Center. In celebration of the 2025 APEC Economic Leaders Meeting taking place in Gyeongju this fall, the exhibition, a collaboration between MMCA and Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power, puts the spotlight on Korean art. These four leading figures of modern and contemporary art reflect the hardships of their era as well as Korea's tradition and nature, which they show through their own unique artistic style. Kim Won-gi is known as the pioneer of Korean abstract art through his notable pieces, including mountains. His signature style of all-over dot paintings is often seen on canvases filled with blue dots. Park Soo-gun also had his own style in portraying human goodness with layers of oil paint, as seen with his painting Under the Tree. And just like Park, who illustrated the hardships of ordinary people in post-war Korea, Lee Jung-sub expressed his hardships and emotions, such as deep longing for his family, using silver foil paintings like in Family. And like all other artists, Jang also focused on the everyday aspects of life that are reflected on his canvases through simple yet clear depictions, as seen in Village.
I got to see all the artists in one spot, and as someone who's interested in art, I had to see the artworks up close. Pieces from artist Kim Hwan-gi are not so easily seen, and to see the change throughout his work was moving.
Through the special exhibition with all four artists, visitors can see the essence of Korean beauty. And the Gyeongju Foundation for Arts and Culture notes that more such events in accordance with the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting will take place to boost the city.
Holding such a large-scale exhibition means a lot. Not only will it contribute to the vitalization of regional culture and art, but by hosting these exhibitions outside of Seoul and the capital area, allow local residents to explore these cultural events and boost their pride.
This exhibition runs till October, so for those interested in exploring Korean contemporary and modern art, visit the historical city of Gyeongju. An Sung-jin, Arirang News, Gyeongju.
Now let's take a look at some stories from around the world with our Ji. Good morning, Ji.
Good morning, Eun-ji.
So, Ji, let's start in the Middle East, where Israel has announced a pause in military operations in 3 areas. Tell us more.
Right. The Israeli military has announced a daily pause in military activity in 3 densely populated areas of Gaza to ease the ongoing humanitarian crisis. On Sunday, the Israel Defense Forces declared a tactical pause in fighting from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. local time daily until further notice in Gaza City, Deir al-Balah, and al-Mawasi while launching airdropped aid. To facilitate aid delivery, Israel has also designated secure corridors for UN and humanitarian convoys, which will be in place permanently between 6 a.m. and 11 p.m. More than 100 truckloads of food, medicine, and supplies were dispatched towards southern Gaza. Meanwhile, Jordan and the UAE also airdropped about 25 tons of flour, sugar, and canned goods into the enclave. The military pause aims to increase the scale of humanitarian aid amidst warnings of mass starvation. However, aid groups say that only under 8% of World Food Program trucks have successfully distributed supplies due to delays and theft, and point out that airdrops are inefficient and sometimes dangerous. The leaders of Thailand and Cambodia agreed to meet in Malaysia for talks after their deadly border conflict continued for a 4th day. The talks are scheduled to begin at 3 p.m. local time on Monday in Kuala Lumpur. U.S. President Donald Trump publicly urged both nations to agree to an immediate ceasefire on Sunday, warning that ongoing trade negotiations would be suspended unless hostilities end. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, currently chairing the Association of Southeast Asian Nations regional bloc, offered to host peace talks for both parties. Thai Acting Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet are expected to attend the talks. Over 30 people have died in the worst fighting between the two countries in over a decade, while more than 200,000 people have been displaced. A passenger train derailed in southern Germany on Sunday, killing at least 3 people and seriously injuring others. Around 100 people were aboard the train when 2 carriages came off the rails at 6:10 p.m. local time in a wooded area near the town of Riedlingen in the southwest of the country. Authorities are examining whether strong winds that swept the region shortly before the incident contributed to the derailment. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz expressed grief on his social media, saying, "We mourn the victims." In the UK, a pair of mixed-breed dogs and their human guardians made headlines at the Dog Masters Festival on Sunday, held at a beach in Dorset. Two teams broke a Guinness World Record with Matt Jenkins and his dog Gigi alongside Ben Gray and Boo, breaking the 50-meter paddleboard sprint record in a time of 32 seconds. The festival, hosted as part of the UK Dog Surfing Championships, featured paddleboarding, surfing displays, and world record attempts. Another World Dog Surfing Championships is set to take place in the San Francisco Bay Area on August 2nd.
It's another sizzling start to the day. The extreme heat wave is showing no signs of letting up. Yesterday's Seoul soared to a sweltering 38 degrees Celsius. That's the fourth highest ever for late July. And today is just as hot, if not hotter. Heat wave warnings remain in place across much of the country, so please try to stay indoors and avoid any unnecessary outdoor activities. And don't forget, UV levels will be very strong nationwide, so don't skip the sunscreen and take frequent breaks in the shade if you're outside. Meanwhile, later this afternoon, we could see brief showers in southern Gyeonggi-do, Chungcheongdo, and Jeollabuk-do provinces with up to 30 millimeters in the forecast. And this afternoon, Seoul will be getting up to 37 degrees Celsius. Chuncheon, Gyeongju, Gwangju topping out at 35 degrees. Looking ahead, tomorrow and the rest of the week will bring more of the same. Highs over 35 degrees Celsius and tropical nights continuing. So please stay safe and take care in this extreme heat.
That's all we have for this morning. Arirang News will be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Thanks for watching.
To set the facts straight. Get Korea right.
서시. 죽는 날까지 하늘을 우러러 한 점 부끄럼이 없기를. 잎새이는 바람에도 나는 괴로워했다. 별을 노래하는 마음으로 모든 죽어가는 것을 사랑해야지. 그리고 나한테 주어진 길을 걸어가야겠다. 오늘 밤에도 별이 바람에 스치운다. 한국인들이라면 한 번쯤 들어본 시일 텐데요. 바로 서시입니다. 이 시를 쓴 주인공, 바로 윤동주 시인입니다. 안녕하세요. 반크에서 활동하는 권소영 연구원입니다. 서시, 별에는 밤, 자화상 등을 쓴 윤동주 시인은 한국인이 가장 사랑하는 시인 중 한 명으로 꼽히는데요. 가끔 윤동주 시인의 정보에서 오해와 오류가 보이더라고요. 제가 윤동주 시인에 대한 제대로 된 정보를 알려드릴게요. 대일항쟁기였던 1917년에 태어난 윤동주는 평생 한국어로만 시를 쓰며 민족의 아픔을 위로했던 시인이에요. 폭넓게 세상을 접하고 더 많은 것을 배우기 위해 일본 유학을 떠났던 윤동주는 1943년 7월 한국인 유학생들을 대상으로 민족 문화와 독립 정신을 고취시켰다는 혐의로 일본 경찰에 체포됐습니다. 1945년 2월 윤동주는 28세의 나이로 후쿠오카 형무소에서 숨을 거뒀는데요. 암울했던 식민지 시절, 민족에 대한 사랑과 독립에 대한 염원을 시로 쓴 윤동주 시인. 우리가 기억해야 할 아름다운 이름입니다. 한국 바로 알리기. 여러분도 함께 해주세요.
We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation. Bringing news just for you. It's Monday, July 28th here in Seoul. I'm Lee Soo-jin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Q.
Thank you for having me. I hope you had a good weekend.
I hope you did too. And also Taeyeon's with us today.
Happy Monday.
Happy
Feels
Monday.
great to be back.
And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's Monday, and as we kick off another work week, we're diving into a trend that's been taking over toy shops and backpack accessories all over the world. The mystery box craze. From collectible dolls like Labubus to capsule toys and random keychains, people everywhere are buying items without knowing exactly what they'll get. But before we get into today's discussion, Taeyeon, what do you think is driving the popularity of Labubus? I'm sure you've seen them all around, whether in real life or all over social media. We've actually talked about them on the show before too. So why do you think people are so obsessed with collecting them?
Well, I've definitely seen Labubus popping up everywhere, and on my social network feed, I've seen many people unboxing a mystery box, holding their breath to see which Labubu they got. And I think the craze really comes down to three things: cuteness, curiosity, and community. community. First, the design of Labubu is very cute. It's not just usual cuteness aesthetic, but it has this kind of creepy but endearing look, and that uniqueness makes people want to own them all. And second, the randomness is another attractive point. You don't know what you're going to get, so people go like that element of surprise because the dopamine rush, and people go like, oh, maybe this time I'll get what I want. And finally, these aren't just toys anymore. These are like the social currency. People post their collections online and sometimes trade figures with others or show off what they have on their personal collection shelves. So it's not just about collecting, it's about the emotional payoff and feeling connected to something bigger.
I like what you said about how it's really about the social currency. It's also kind of not just about the toy itself, but it's kind of experience around it. And also, I don't know if either of you has ever actually seen a Labubu in real life.
Not yet.
I've actually...
You have?
Yeah, I've actually had the rare opportunity of stroking one. I stroked it.
How did it feel?
It felt actually really soft, so I guess it's pretty good quality as
compared
well.
to its like appearance, it was actually softer than...
Yeah, it's very soft. So that's, So what are your thoughts on this, Kim?
I had a great experience. Okay, all right. And I think the element of chance, not knowing what you'll get from the mystery box, triggers that extra curiosity within consumers. It also adds a source of entertainment and surprise from each purchase to create that sense of experience that you just mentioned, Sujin, which is what many youngsters are into these days. It's fun and a memorable experience for that moment at least, and that's why people are uploading Labubu unboxing videos, receiving millions and millions of views. And another interesting thing that stood out is that the majority of consumers are in their 20s and 30s, not so much the kids. That also highlights the spending power and rise in sales and, of course, the prices of these dolls. And, of course, not to mention the marketing success from top celebrities, thanks to Blackpink's Lisa, Rihanna, and Dua Lipa, who were spotted with these dolls hanging from their very, very expensive luxury bags.
So I think it was like more expensive now.
Even more. So I think it was a bit of a win-win situation from both brands.
So it's all part of this growing mystery box craze where people are buying things without knowing exactly what they'll get. And also gacha shops or capsule vending machine stores are also seen to be popping up pretty much everywhere these days. So can you tell us more about how they become so popular, Kyun?
Right, so these capsule toy machines or gacha shops that were hugely popular when we were kids have recently made their way into major spots in Seoul, such as Hongdae, Seongsu, and Yongsan, gaining popularity again. So they're especially popular among people in their 20s and 30s, often referred to kiddos who are really into buying toys and like watching animations, things like that. And they mostly feature plastic miniatures of animation characters, robots, animals, and even dolls. And the price range varies widely. And because these capsule toys are not just popular in Korea, but around the world, one market research firm projects that the market will grow at an average annual rate of 10%.
So because I've heard they're also really popular, I also had the chance to visit a gacha store recently, and it was actually my first time. So I didn't really know what to expect, and I ended up trying a few myself, and honestly, I kind of do get the hype now. It's very addictive. It's really addictive, and you'll see why. So I went there with one of our video journalists, so let's take a look. So I'm here at one of the biggest gacha shops in the country, and places like this have been popping all over Korea recently. So let's go in. So the idea is quite simple. Tap your card, twist the knob, and get a surprise. Let's see if I can get the one that I want right now. So this is what I got on my first try. It's not what I wanted, but so let's try again. Okay, one more. Okay, this is for New Generation. Okay, finally, I got what I wanted. So I actually brought into the studio the keychains I got in the video. So here they are.
Oh, wow.
They're kind of small. I don't know how influencers
They're small, but they're cute.
They're they're quite small
and quite expensive.
They are. They're around like 4,000 won
4,000 won
each.
each.
Which I think they're on the cheaper side. So I have to admit, I was hanging out in the cheaper section.
Oh, so there are more expensive zones.
Right. So the ones that are bigger and they're more fully formed. I guess this is kind of like 2D.
It's flat.
It's a bit flat. But the ones that are bigger are also more expensive.
I see.
Some of them range are more than 10,000 won.
10,000 won. Wow.
So yeah. So these are what I got. So have either of you been to a gacha shop?
No.
I was only so surprised to see how many people were there. And I actually went on a weekday, actually.
Weekdays?
And I talked to the person who was in charge of it, and he said that actually wasn't that many people there that day, which, I mean, it was hard for us to actually go in and film.
Wow.
So
I
heard,
still crowded.
Right, so on a weekend, I heard it's hard to even like move around, just to walk around.
That was in the Gangnam area?
It was in the Yongsan area.
Yongsan area, okay.
It's supposed to be one of the biggest ones in Korea. He said there was 350 gacha machines at the store that you just saw in the video.
And I was also surprised to see like the people behind you, they were not kids, they were actually like kidults.
There weren't that many.
Those
Yeah, you're right.
20s or 30s.
Right, there weren't actually that many like young children. So yeah, so have you guys been to one?
No, not yet, because I know once I actually go there, I'll get very addicted and I'll be there spending all my money and start our own collection. But I can say this because I was very much into claw machines or 인형 뽑기 in Korean back in the day. And oh boy, I spent a lot of my parents' money on those fluffy dolls. I once had too many in my room, taking up too much space, so I had to actually give some away to my friends. It seems people gain a sense of satisfaction when they display like collectibles somewhere in their house, or when someone comes over and when you actually show it to others, they're like, oh wow, you have these collectibles. And this sense of like owning a complete set of collectibles, and also that quest to find the rare item that you want. Gives you that extra sense of like consumption power. Like you want to open your wallet a bit more to get that item you want, and then realize that, oh, maybe I'm spending too much, but that's a little too late.
Too late.
We're going to talk about the downsides a bit later of these random boxes, but yeah, these are some of the reasons why I haven't been to one yet. But just looking at your video, Sujin, it looks quite fun.
Right. No, I mean, I feel like there are actually more people than I thought that actually like collecting stuff. And I think for them, like I went on like a workshop with one of our video journalists here. He said he collects Starbucks cups from every city he visits. So I think it kind of gives him a sense of pride as well to show like I've been to this many places and I remember they've been to all these places.
And also you can actually buy them from Tangum Market.
Right.
Another way to show off that you've been to different cities by buying them from.
So what's your experience with gacha shops?
I haven't been to a gacha shop myself, but I had a pretty similar experience with my 5-year-old son recently. He's on a summer vacation from kindergarten, and since the weather has been so hot these days, we decided to spend time at mega malls and to stay cool. And there were gacha machines everywhere there, but these were not simple machines. I remember from when I was little, they were super fancy, colorful, shiny, with so many different types, and my son got immediately drawn to them when he first saw it. And first I said no, but after passing machine after machine, I eventually gave in, and he was so excited, not because he knew what he was going to get, but because he didn't know what he was going to get. And that hope of maybe getting the toy he really wanted made the whole experience so thrilling for him. And of course, he didn't get exactly what he wanted, but he was still happy. And honestly, watching his joy kind of won me over too. So maybe next time when I visit one of these mega malls, I'll try for myself.
It's actually kind of funny, but I can relate to your son. Every time I did, I was like, maybe just one more try.
Yeah, one more try.
Right, and I started getting kind of nervous.
I know.
When I was opening my capsule, I was like, did I get the one I want? But I mean, it's not just about toys or collectibles, right? So, hey, also, how is this trend expand beyond just these physical items?
It's way beyond just toys and collectibles now. Whole randomness factor has expanded into all kinds of lifestyles or even experiences. For example, there are random coffee or dessert boxes where you don't know what flavor or design you are going to get until you open the box. Or surprise beauty boxes you subscribe, and each month you receive a mix of like skincare products or beauty products, but you have no idea what's inside. downside. And one really interesting example I saw recently was in restaurants. Some places offer lucky menu where you pay a fixed price, but the dish is randomly selected by the chef, so you don't know what you're going to eat. It's a little small gamble, but it turns eating into a game, which makes the entire experience much more memorable.
Right, and I think it kind of sounds like a casual version of omakase.
Yeah, it is.
Instead of, I guess you're not really leaving it up to the chef's vision. It's like totally, it's like a food lottery. Right. And I guess, like you said, that would make it very memorable. Right. There are pros and cons to it.
And I believe it guarantees a certain level of quality of the food. Yes, because you have to pay the fixed price anyways.
Oh, that makes sense. That's good. Okay. So are there any other areas where this trend of random or blind purchases is showing up, Kyung?
Yes, recently there has been a craze for random consumption in China as well. Popular examples include ordering random breakfast menus, like kind of similar to what Seyoung mentioned, or purchasing travel packages where the destination and dates are chosen at random. It's called manghe in Chinese, meaning blind box, and people are happy with what they get because it saves them the trouble of choosing, which could be time-consuming and even stressful at times. Similarly, random travel packages are also gaining popularity as consumers don't need to plan ahead of like the travel plans while feeling quite excited and like anticipating what will be revealed like just a few days before the actual travel day. So I think people in China especially are really into this craze of this random things popping up and not expecting the unexpected.
Right.
Yeah.
But I feel like with that, the pros and cons are very clear.
Very clear.
I don't like planning. So that sounds nice. Not being the stress of planning is completely gone, but at the same time, like, because I know you kind of find out like the destination right before you go, right? So that also I feel you get a lot of anxiety from that.
Exactly.
Would you go on a trip?
No. I like to plan things
there.
out.
Okay, no hesitation.
Yes, no hesitation. I wouldn't try it yet.
Okay, so why are young people especially drawn to this kind of random consumption stand? Is it about the thrill, the surprise, or is there something deeper?
I think this trend really reflects what younger generations are craving these days, impromptu experiences and novelty. In a world where everything is so unsurprising thanks to algorithms and personalization, people intentionally choose something that they can control. And that little bit of unpredictability feels refreshing sometimes. And it's also a way to make everyday life more exciting because even a simple coffee order can feel like an adventure when you don't know what you're going to get.
And I think what you said is really true because I feel like nowadays there's more pressure to make the best of your time because everyone's carving out hard-earned time in their lives. So that's why I guess, like you said, adding a bit of spontaneous planning will make it more like an adventure, make it more memorable. Yeah. Well, are there some other reasons about this?
So the claw machine games that I was very much into, I also considered a form of recession-type consumption. So back in 2017, claw machine arcades were hugely popular for the same reason. And with relatively little money that people have, people can actually enjoy both entertainment and the joy of spending money at the same time. It's part of the phenomenon where the worse the economy gets, the more people turn to simple hopes, like buying the lottery ticket, that are purely just based on luck rather than skills or effort.
Right, it's like a tiny kind of affordable game where it gives you hope. So to learn more about this trend of consumption where people buy things without knowing exactly what they're getting, we're speaking with a young person from the Philippines who's been actively taking part from mystery boxes to gacha toys and more. So that conversation will be taking place right after the break, so stay tuned.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Today we're joined by Jade, who's an avid mystery box shopper from the Philippines. Hi Jade, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me again here.
So what kinds of mystery boxes, capsule vending machines, or similar items do you enjoy, and how often do you buy them? And this is a bit of a personal question, but how much do you usually spend on them?
Well, in terms of mystery boxes, I'm more into cute, compact items that could fit nicely on my office desk since I'm working in office, like what I have here. I have this cute little ones here. This is called Mofusans, and these are Mofusan blind boxes. I have a few collections and other capsule toys with fun and animal-themed design. I love browsing through collectible figures, especially with the ones with playful and unique looks that add a bit of personality to my space. I only started collecting recently and usually buy a box about once a month or when I feel like I want to treat myself. And yes, I've also gotten few gifts from my friends and who knows I'm into this kind of stuff. So far, I think I've spent around $100 to $150, or which is around 120,000 won, which I think it isn't too bad since Mofusan figures or toys are pretty affordable and perfect for collectors who want something cute without breaking their banks.
Wow, Jade, we can see that you're definitely into the trend.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the most exciting about this type of shopping?
Well, I really need to pay attention much to mystery.
Hi, I think we are facing some connection difficulties. So we're going to connect with her again soon. So while we wait to connect with her, we're going to move on to the final part of our discussion today. So with any trend, there's usually a flip side to any trends, pretty much. Kyun, are there any concerns or downsides to this growing craze where people are buying things without knowing exactly what they're getting into?
Yes, the thrill and fun of random purchasing can make it highly addictive, especially when people don't get the exact product they want. So it can lead to overspending. Just what I experienced with claw machines when I really wanted that specific Pokemon doll that I couldn't draw out. But it took me.
Which Pokemon doll was it?
It starts with P.
P. Oh, okay.
And S.
Okay.
The water.
Main character.
Yeah, the
main character.
classic, the yellow one and the blue one. This in turn encourages companies to use gambling-like marketing tactics. In fact, some random product sellers have faced controversy for not disclosing the exact quantity of high-value items, and it's quite difficult to find out how many they were in the first place unless it goes through under deeper legal investigation.
Right. Sam, are there any rules or regulations then around mystery box marketing, especially to minors?
First of all, I totally agree with what Ki-woon has just said. That's a really important point. Mystery box marketing might seem fun and harmless on the surface, but there are growing concerns, especially when it comes to minors or young kids. Right now in Korea, there aren't specific laws that directly ban the sales of blind box to kids, but consumer advocacy groups have been calling for stronger regulations because a lot of these products blur the line between play and gambling, and also companies often make returns or exchanges almost impossible, and the actual value of the product is sometimes far less than the price you pay. So yeah, that's where it starts to feel exploitative, and many people argue that we need more laws or regulations.
Right, and transparency definitely helps consumers, which is something that I know you care about as a mom too. So I think we're going to connect again with our Zoom with Jay today. Jay, can you hear us?
Yes.
Welcome back.
Oh yeah, sorry about it.
Welcome back.
It's
good to see you back.
Yes, technical issues.
Yes, continuing my question.
Yes,
So what do you find the most exciting about this type of shopping?
Yes. Well, about it, again, I never really paid much attention to mystery toys until I discovered these adorable Mofusan cats. They were so cute and quirky, and I just had to try one. And I thought they'd be a really fun little addition to my office desk. And out of curiosity, and since they've been trending lately, I decided to buy one for myself. And I can still remember the thrill of opening my very first blind box and hoping to pull my favorite design. And that little moment of surprise sparked something in me. And since then, I've found myself buying more of these small, charming figures. And what excites me the most about this is the type of shopping is the anticipation and the element of surprise as we open. It feels like a mini celebration every time we unbox one, and it brings outbursts of thrill and happiness, and I proudly display them on my desk.
Jade, but at the same time, have you ever experienced any concerns or downsides when purchasing a mystery box or similar items?
So we just faced a bit of technical difficulties today, but we'll move on to the last part. So finally, is there a way to enjoy this trend of buying things without knowing exactly what you get more wisely, Q? And how do you keep it fun and exciting without going too overboard?
So maybe I'm like answering instead of Jade. Okay, so I think it's everything in moderation to begin with. Most trends come and go, and it's great to be a part of the hip only if you're able to manage how much you're actually spending. But in many of the cases, you don't really realize how much you've spent once you start buying everything and you go home, you're like, oh, I have a lot of collectibles, but what am I going to do with them? And interestingly, I saw this video of unboxing video of these Labubu dolls, and what I saw, and I found it very funny how the creator's face would get worse and worse every time he unpacked, unwrapped.
So getting what they didn't really want.
Because he didn't end up getting what he wanted, and he's like,
but he already spent a lot of money.
And at the top of the screen, he said minus $400 or something.
Oh no!
And he was about to cry, and I thought, hey, what's the message of this video? It's fun, the fact that he's actually, it's a surprise. You don't know what's inside, but once you actually don't get what you want, it leaves you with like just excessive dolls that you don't know what to do with. And I think if I have to mention one downside, it could become a complete waste if you don't utilize it. And I'm sure Seyoung would know exactly what I mean, having two kids, having the feeling precious to buy these gifts for their kids. So Seyoung would explain further.
Yeah, from my personal experience as a mom, I've seen how easy it is for kids to get hooked when they see these like random like gacha machines and everything. And my daughter is too young, but my son is old enough. I believe he's old enough to understand what I say. So I try to have this small conversation with him, like, why are we buying this and what are we buying just for fun, and do we really need it in the first place? And having those kind of small conversation can plant the seeds of healthy spending habit later on. So I want to say, keep it fun, keep it intentional, don't let it overwhelm you. So in that way, you will enjoy that trend in a very healthy way.
I mean, that sounds like there's a lot of patience coming from
Right. Did I sound like a scolding mom? Sorry about that.
A wise mom. A wise mom indeed.
Another thing I guess someone can do is, like, for you said you gave them away, right? So that could be, maybe that person can also give some away to their friends.
That's an option.
So whether it's for the thrill, the fun of collecting, or just a little surprise in your day, buying without knowing what you'll get has clearly captured people's attentions. And with any trend, balance is key. So if you're going to try it, enjoy the fun, but maybe keep an eye on your wallet too. So we're conducting a program survey including News Generation until August 17th to better meet our viewers' expectations. So please visit us at www.arirang.com or on the Arirang TV mobile app to share your valuable feedback. And by participating, you'll also have a chance to win Bluetooth earbuds and exclusive K-pop merchandise. And this brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation, but News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Big thanks to Kyun.
Always a pleasure.
Good to have you. And Seyoung.
Thank you
for joining us today. And to all our viewers, thanks so much for watching, and we hope you have the best day. We are News Generation.
How to survive in Korea. Barbecue restaurants. Step 1. Taking care of your clothes. Put your jacket in the plastic bag. Seal it tight. If the stool flips open, store your clothes inside. Wearing light colors? Grab an apron. It's the best defense against oil splatter and smoke. Step 2. Bottomless side dishes. Basic side dishes at a barbecue restaurant. Eat, and eat as much as you want. Side dishes come with free refills. Oh, and if you don't see this sign, just ask, 사장님, 여기 밑반찬 좀 더 주세요. Simple, isn't it? Step 3. Grilling meat. There are various kinds of samgyeopsal in Korea. Place the meat on the grill, turn it over when golden. And again when it looks done. Again and again and again. Step 4. Sam style. You aren't taking bites of sam like a taco, are you? In Korea, we have it in one bite. A pro tip here. Add only as much as you can handle in a bite. Gotta avoid awkward situations. Step 5. Enjoy the perks. After the meal, enjoy the perks offered at a Korean restaurant. Fabric refreshers get rid of the barbecue smell, while mint candies freshen your breath. Did you survive the barbecue restaurant? Hang on. Are you here with someone you want to impress? Then let's skip the garlic. Who knows what will happen?
Arirang TV is conducting an overseas TV viewer survey to provide you with a better global broadcast service. Share your valuable feedback on the Arirang TV website www.arirang.com or mobile application. Survey participants will be selected at random to receive special gifts. 2025 Arirang Overseas TV Viewer Survey. We look forward to hearing from you.